What's up everyone, Wolfman here, and welcome to MOC Monday Reviews, the series where I do a review on my own creations I built from Legos, or MOCs is what they're called. And today I'm doing a special episode, and today on this episode I'm showing out the reviews on 5 different model speeders that I've built from 3 different LEGO Star Wars battle packs. And 2 of the battle packs I've built these speeders from were from the First Order, and 1 Old Republic Clone War era speeder. Now, out of these designs, actually am a big fan of, or at least one of them, anyways. One of them is just something I almost kind of slapped together, but I did put in a little creativity, and the pieces I used to build them were actually from the battle packs themselves. So, without any further ado, let's get on to the review. So these are the 5 speeders that I have built and designed using pieces from the 3 different battle packs. I'm going to start with these 3 here, and the pieces that I used to build these 3 are from set number 75266, the Sith Order speeder pack. And I was actually quite thrilled at how these suckers actually turned out. Go ahead and start with those 2, so put these guys off to the side. Now, each of them actually has a different purpose. This first one here that I had built, that I'll show, is actually basically like a launching platform. It's got room for 2 pilots to be placed in the back here, and you can also have a gunner here at the front, which actually installed one of the stud shooters, and the platform here are for the jetpack troopers. They can basically be launched from here, and they can be engaged in the battlefield. I did design this. And the shape of it, I actually wanted to keep up with that design. I was able to pull it off. And just to show a little bit more, or show off different angles on it. And it does have 4 engines in the back, so this sucker can actually move pretty fast. There really isn't too many special details I was able to put onto it, because I had to use other resources for the other speeders. But I think it gets the message out there, and I actually did like this one a lot. It was actually quite the fun build. And this one I purposely designed for speed in mind. It can only have one figure right here in the middle. It does come with does still have the same engine design. But this sucker is meant to be like a rammer, because I designed to have a hammerhead design in mind. And I'm actually quite pleased at how this actually turned out. It was a little something I slapped together, but I'm still rather satisfied how it turned out, and it actually does stand on its own quite well. But if I were to do more detailings, I might make it a little bit longer or so. But it was a small, nimble speeder, and that's what I wanted to go for. Now this one here, I took that hammerhead design and basically decided to give it the little ramming look, or the ramming function as this sucker has, as this one will probably have as well. Can only have 2 figures, maybe even a 3rd one, but again, it's got the nose gun at the front with the stud shooter in the front, which is what I wanted to go for. And of course, you only have 1 pilot set right here in the middle. And the design I had in mind, I really wanted to make it a little more kind of abstract by having these panels here basically attached right off to the side, but the panels actually have the engines added to them. Of course, once again, this sucker does carry on the same design of the thrusters, and I actually was well satisfied with how this looked. And also, the sucker actually put may as well consider them landing struts or landing gear. Otherwise, this sucker is a little bit on the heavy, or a little front heavy, so I purposely put those in to give a little more structural support. I would almost want to change them out, but I wanted to stay true to the original aesthetic of using the same pieces from the battle pack. And I believe I actually got 20 of those battle packs, so I have plenty of pieces to make a second one of this. I think a total of 5 of these guys, and I believe 5 of these guys. So it was definitely worth the investment, and I was so glad that I did, because I did not really spare anything from that set. But it was definitely worth the. Well, it was definitely well worth it. I will just finish off with that for these guys. So I'll go ahead and put these guys up to the side, and we'll do the other First Order speeder here. And this one was actually from set number 75166. This was another first order speeder pack that don't recall what year it came out, but I wanted to do the same thing for this because the other speeder it wasn't too bad per se, but I wanted to be a little more creative. And like the other one, the cockpit's all the way up here in the front. There is no control panel or anything, so I left that open. So I basically left that open. And you can actually have a couple of troopers here in the back, and I did carry on the design as like to carry their weapons, like the shields and the batons from that battle pack. But it also has I was able to carry on the stud launchers for this sucker, and they actually can be withdrawn, so it can be tucked away quite nicely. Although for room for troopers is a little bit limited, so there's that. But one feature I really wanted to do was the engine designs, or the thrusters, which I did go for this design on purpose, and I was actually quite well pleased with it. And of course, this sucker also does have a, don't know if you can see that, there it goes, there it is, yeah, right here. It's got a little landing gear in the front so it can actually stay up, because like the other one, it's kind of a little back heavy, so I put that in just so it can stand in place. And the battle packs I built this one out of, I believe I've gotten, oh, how many? Pardon me. I believe I gotten 10 or 20. I think I had gotten 20, so I actually built 10 of these. Yeah, I did. I bought 20 of those, so I built 10 of these guys, and definitely worth it. So it was definitely the worth investment. But my favorite one now has to be this one. This one was from set number 75206. This sucker was the battle pack from that was a speeder pack that came with 2 Phase 1 clone troopers, MOC Monday, and Barris Offie. And I actually got 25 of these guys, so I don't recall how many of these guys I have total, or that I have made from all of those pieces, but this was the design that I had in mind, and I utilized the front cockpit piece of the speeders to do this curve design. So it kind of makes you think of so the design I actually had in mind on this was kind of like a Roman chariot. Of course, it still has the dual thrusters in the back, but also has these suckers underneath, so it actually slides like it's supposed to mimic hovering. So this sucker is actually like a hovering chariot, and the sides do open up, so anyone who's in here can be deployed or whatever. But it's a little bit on the frail side, so there's that. But I actually liked this model quite a lot, and I wish I could have improved on it, but again, I wanted to use the same pieces from the battle packs themselves, and this was the design that I had in mind, so this one's actually one of my favorite ones, even though it's a little bit on the exposed side on the top, but then again, so are the other ones, so I'm not too upset about it. But it would be kind of neat if I could actually do other color variants. And the other battle packs I actually did have the stud shooters for this set, but I decided not to put them in because this is basically meant for basically a chariot. So any other figures I could put in, they would actually have their armaments. But I think at some point I probably would have stuck something on here. So I believe that may be it. So yeah, my Clone War era speeder, my First Order speeder, and my 3 Sith Order speeders, all designed from the 3 different battle packs that I have built. And I almost wish I could have done for my Imperials, but I didn't really care too much, so I decided to go for these guys. And the color schemes I really do love, especially with the First Order speeder, so definitely worth the investment. So if anyone who is encouraged by this, then I'd like to hear some feedback from anyone who comes across this. So I believe that is going to be my review. So that was my review for MOC Mondays, and if you liked that video, then please feel free to leave a like down below and leave a comment. I'd like to hear some feedback from anyone who comes across this channel. And if you're encouraged by this, because I actually got encouragement from another YouTube channel who I don't remember the name of, but they did the same thing. They did their own speeder variants from these battle packs. So I decided to do the same thing, even though I believe they did it with much larger quantity than what I had. So if anyone's encouraged to do so, then please let me know. I'd like to get some feedback, and I like to get some feedback and like some honest opinions over which one is your favorite, which one do you not like, what improvements would anyone would suggest. If you want to see more of these kinds of videos, then come join the Wolf Pack by hitting the red subscribe button down below for more videos like this in the very near future, and definitely tune in to the next one another 2 weeks from today's video. All that stuff for me, I believe that is all for now, and all that stuff for me to remind you that Jesus loves you more than Elmo and Barney, and I'll see you guys next time.